Blades, we welcome you as we look ahead to Liverpool versus Sheffield United, a 7:30 p.m. kickoff on Thursday at Anfield. It's like we're in the Europa League. Let's begin, as we always do, by looking back at our previous match, if we have to. Sheffield United 3, Fulham 3. United led 3-1 in the 86th minute, and it looked like 4-1, but thankfully we have good old reliable VAR to forensically dissect every single decision and keep the flow of the game slow, with fans in the stadium not having a clue what's going on, sometimes for far too long. And, you know, slow is fun. This is not what the public want. I don't ever remember being consulted over this. As we all know, football wasn't rubbish, was it? Before the introduction of VAR in select leagues, at select grounds in the FA Cup, and reviewing only select decisions. This isn't the game we grew up with, in the garden, jumpers for additional VAR cameras, and it's ruining the matches for me. It really is. And Chris Wilder has said he's not prepared to give his hard-earned money to the Football Association or the Premier League, so he won't comment on controversial decisions such as the 14 minutes added on at the end of that Fulham match. He won't comment, so I will. What a load of gammon. Why are we putting up with this? That time was being added on because VAR were looking at Fulham's goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, for fainting for blooming ages. That was being looked at by VAR, and that time, I think, could have been better spent looking at 𝗍𝗫𝗏𝗍 pushing his thumb into the Adam's apple of 𝗍𝗫𝗏𝗏, but VAR went, nah, we're fine with that one. Anyway, enough about VAR. Let's talk about financial fair play. I hate modern football. Don't worry, I'm not really going to talk about financial fair play, but I will just say a lot of that anger is still seeping over, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way from the weekend. But on to Liverpool away. I think talking about something more positive, Ollie McBurnie's performance. He's played a lot deeper in the last couple of games, and I've liked what I've seen. It's a bit more David McGoldrick-esque. He's used to linking the play. He's good at arriving late. He is so good with his feet. It's something we've spoken about on this channel before. Seems to suit him a lot more than when he's sometimes on his own up front, just lumping the ball to him, or even when he has a strike partner, is expected to just do the flick-ons. I think he's so much better when he's utilised in this kind of role with a strike partner that's not too dissimilar to him in 𝗵𝗿𝗏𝗏. And I thought McBurnie was magnificent against Fulham. So, does this pose more questions than answers for the Sheffield United hierarchy? And I'm talking about there, Ollie McBurnie's contract situation. What do you think? I know many have already speculated that he's likely already going to be playing for Rangers next season, but who knows? Blades team news and predicted lineup. Well, we know about the long-termers, Basham, Egan, Lowe, Brewster and Rhys Norrington-Davies, all likely to be out for the remainder of the season. We can throw Tom Davies in as a long-termer. Here's what Chris Wilder said. Tom will be out for a month. He had a hamstring injury at the training ground. Got a feel for Tom Davies. I mean, in the short sort of cameo appearances we've seen of him, he's looked all right, so you'd like to have seen a bit more of him towards the end of the season. Baldock as well, I'd like to have seen more of him, because again, situation there, we've got to make a decision. 6 weeks out, according to various reports, after sustaining injury in Greece's Euro defeat to Georgia. I want to see more meaningful minutes for Daniel Jebbison before the end of the season. Could he feature? I'd also like to see more from Anis Ben Slimani. That's a long hamstring. And I mean the length of time with the injury, not necessarily the length of his hamstring. And Cameron Archer, that's a calf injury that's kept him out for too long. Now, what do you think the lineup's going to be? If you'd like to predict your lineup like this, you can join the Fan Hub community with the link in the description or using the code 𝗍𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏5. It might well be the same 11 that started against Fulham, which would mean 𝗑𝗫𝗏 in net. That's the same 𝗑𝗫𝗏 who's conceded 19 goals in 6 games. I mean, I know it's not his fault, but that is absolutely terrible. Holgate, Anel and captain Jackie Longthrow, Bogle and Osborne, Vicious Susan, Arblaster, who I thought deserved his round of applause when he came off against Fulham, and Hamer, or Harmer, McBurnie and Ben Brereton Diaz. Now, Darren in our Patreon group has suggested, I think he will change it around and only play one up top. Very quick turnaround between this game and Chelsea, which he will be looking to get a result from. Trusty at left wing back, Osborne in midfield, McAtee to start on the right of a 4, and probably 𝗜脾𝗱𝗶𝗶𝗲 up top. That's what Darren thinks. What do you think Chris Wilder will go with? Equally, if you'd like your team shared on here and to receive a whole host of benefits, as well as support us here at Sheff United Way, go to patreon.com/Sheff United Way. Now, you might have noticed there was a new ball assistant rule in place for that Fulham match. So they're a ball assistant, ball boy or ball girl in old money, where they're not allowed to pass or throw the ball back to a player when the ball goes out of play, and they can't sit next to a cone with a ball placed on it. The player taking the throw or goal kick must collect the ball from the nearest cone, and the ball assistant will then replace the ball on the nearest cone. You will have noticed there were extra cones placed around the ground to speed things up. Once again, a rule I don't remember anyone ever asking for. These seem strange. So many rules coming into football. I think the only one I've ever gone, yeah, do you know what, that's made it better, was the back pass rule. As always, this episode of the Sheff United Way is sponsored by Greene King Sports, where football is more than a game. The league season is entering the business end, and Greene King Sport venues are showing every single televised Blades fixture over the run-in. With more than 900 sports pubs across the UK, it doesn't matter where you're based, you can catch every single minute of the action. Football is best enjoyed with your mates, so if you're not at the ground this month, get a text in the group chat and head to your local Greene King Sports venue to catch the game. Don't forget to download the Greene King Sport app to enjoy exclusive competitions and discounts whenever there's a game on. Let's talk about our opponents, Liverpool. Their goal difference is currently 6 less than Arsenal's. Yikes. 40 for Liverpool, 46 for the Gunners. At time of recording, Liverpool currently top of the Premier League on 67 points, and I think they'll go with Kelleher in goal, Bradley, 𝗏𝗏, Virgil van Dijk, the captain, Gomez, Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Diaz, Núñez and Salah. So predicting one change, 𝗏𝗏 in. Maybe Elliott for Szoboszlai with Man United coming up on Sunday. Big game for Liverpool. The injuries, Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Jones could be back, Robertson, Jota, Matip, Thiago, Bajcetic, Doak, all out. Those last 4 likely out for the season. So it's not just Sheffield United that have a long injury list. I know it feels that way because it's our team. The referee for Liverpool versus Sheffield United is Stuart Atwell from Warwickshire. This season he's taken charge of 20 matches. He's issued 86 yellows, 4 reds, one of which was a second yellow, and he's given 5 penalties. And this will actually be his 4th Blades game that he's overseen this season. He did our 8-0 defeat at home against Newcastle, our 1-0 home win against Brentford, where I thought he missed a blatant red for the away side, and our 5-0 defeat at home against Brighton. Player connections, players that have played for both Liverpool and Sheffield United. Who can you think of? Hasn't always been the best when we've exchanged players or even just signed players who have previously at one time played for Liverpool. John Newby, Ben Woodburn, Ian Rush. My dad told me Phil Thompson wasn't the best. Of course, I've already mentioned Rhian Brewster. But we do have Mr. Reliable, Jack Robinson. Score prediction, I'd love to not be saying this, but I think it's going to be Liverpool 3, Sheffield United 0. I really hope I'm wrong, but I could see United chasing. We will work hard from the off, as we often do start games well, and try and hit Liverpool on the break. But I fear once Liverpool score, that will be it. You know, we've struggled to create chances, and we've struggled when we have created them to take them, having only scored 27 all season. That is the lowest in the Premier League. That's the same amount as Liverpool have conceded. And the way Sheffield United plays, we have very little possession, very little of the ball, where the opposition, they can take patient 1-2 passes and conserve energy. We're running around chasing, so by the 60th minute, a lot of fatigue kicks in. You're now playing games until the 100th minute plus. And also our opponents can bring on quality, and we don't have quite that strength in depth. So I think that's why we're seeing goals conceded late on. Any football fan would say this will be a one-sided contest as top plays bottom. Really hope I'm wrong. Let me know your score prediction in the comments, and check out our audio podcast. It's free.